James Crawford gazed intently at the pregnancy test resting on the sleek marble kitchen counter. His hands quivered as he undid his tie. "What do you mean you are unable to?" Emma Thompson's voice trembled. She faced him, still clad in her medical scrubs, having hurried home from her residency shift to deliver what she believed would be happy news. "The organization is growing. Next month, we will be relocating our operations to Singapore." He avoided her gaze. "I intended to share this with you during dinner, so we'll be moving together, James. This is our little one. This decision does not involve us. The merger has already received the board's approval. Next month, I will be tying the knot with Helen Chin." The ensuing silence struck with the weight of a tangible force. Emma clutched the counter, seeking stability. "Is it Helen Chin? The daughter of your investor? What is the duration?" "It's not as you perceive. It's all about the business. The merger necessitates a focus on business." Emma's laughter echoed emptily. "I'm expecting your child, and you're discussing business?" James extended his hand towards his briefcase. "Your needs will be attended to. The penthouse belongs to you. I will engage my legal team and you can do the same." Emma advanced with purpose. "Gaze upon me, James. Gaze into my eyes and declare that the past 3 years held no significance." He finally locked eyes with her, and Emma perceived a depth there that sent a shiver through her, more unsettling than his words. Void. The man she cherished, the one who had knelt beneath the stars to propose 6 months prior, had vanished. "Apologies," he stated, yet his tone felt robotic. He approached the door, hesitating without looking back. "The accounts are set to be transferred by morning. Please refrain from reaching out to me, James." Emma's voice faltered. The door clicked into place. Emma lingered in the kitchen, the ghostly beep of the pregnancy test's positive results reverberating in her thoughts. The phone vibrated softly. A message from Sarah Chun, her fellow resident. What was his reaction to the news? Yet another excitement. A breaking news alert. Crawford Technologies has announced its merger with Chun Global. CEO James Crawford is set to marry Helen Chun in an intimate ceremony in Singapore. The chamber whirled around. Emma hurried to the bathroom, just in time to be sick. As she knelt on the cold tile, her hand instinctively found its way to her stomach. The device emitted a sharp beep. They required her expertise for an urgent surgical procedure. Emma lifted herself, splashed cool water on her face, and gazed intently at her reflection. First, she was Dr. Thompson. Second, she became the abandoned fiancé. Her patients relied on her. She snatched her keys and paused at the kitchen counter. The pregnancy test remained, 2 pink lines vivid against the white plastic backdrop. Emma tucked it away, a symbol of the moment her life transformed in 2 significant ways. Inside the elevator, she crafted a reply to Sarah. "He has departed. I will provide an explanation later. Making my way to 03 now." The doors swung open to the lobby, and Emma emerged, her shoulders squared and her head held high. She had 9 months to navigate the journey of becoming a single mother. At this moment, her focus was on saving a life. As she approached her car, her phone vibrated once more, signaling a system notification. "Your access to the specified accounts has been revoked." Emma discarded it without delving deeper. With 12 hours remaining in her shift, a surgery awaiting her skilled hands, and a future that needed mending, she pressed on. James Crawford had just committed the gravest error of his existence. Yet she remained unaware. He didn't either. The morning sun seemed to taunt Emma as she attempted her card at the ATM for the 4th time. Access to the account has been denied. She rested against the cold metal of the machine, fatigue from her night shift intertwining with a growing sense of panic. "Dr. Thompson." Sarah Chan emerged next to her, holding 2 steaming cups of coffee. "You appear quite unwell." Emma took the coffee with a sense of detachment. "He emptied everything, joint savings, checking, and even my personal account." Somehow, Sarah's impeccably groomed nails gripped her cup with a delicate intensity. "That is against the law. He cannot invade your privacy." "He certainly did, and his name appears on all the rest." Emma retrieved her phone, displaying the cascade of notifications to Sarah. "The keys to the penthouse are also ineffective. After my shift, I made an attempt to head home. Jesus, Sarah yanked Emma away from the ATM. Where did you spend the night? Is there an on-call room available? Emma took a sip of the coffee, her face contorting in distaste. Morning sickness turns this into something reminiscent of battery acid. Please don't go, Sarah urged without hesitation. The spare room is available now that Jenny has moved out. Emma's phone vibrated once more. Margaret, the mother of James. She chose not to answer the call. Emma remarked that it was the 6th time she had attempted to get in touch with her. Most likely a way to mitigate the situation. Perhaps she was unaware. Sarah inquired, "Have you caught the latest news?" Emma gently declined, her head moving side to side. Sarah accessed a business article on her phone. Crawford Technologies reveals unexpected merger. CEO James Crawford was seen in Singapore alongside his fiancée, Helen Chun. The image captured James in a sharp suit, with Helen's hand resting on his arm. They exited the restaurant. James's smile was refined and rehearsed. Emma recorded the timestamp with a sense of detachment. This was captured 3 days prior. He had made up his mind. A nurse hurried over to them. "Dr. Thompson, the patient you operated on last night for the appendectomy is in critical condition." Emma returned her coffee to Sarah and adjusted her white coat with a sense of purpose. "Contact Dr. Reynolds for assistance. I'll arrive in just half a minute." "Emma," Sarah began. "Until next time." Emma interrupted her, already in motion. "First, we strive to save lives. Second, we focus on rebuilding them." The crisis occupied the subsequent 4 hours. As Emma stepped out of the oar, the weight of a successful save behind her, she noticed 7 missed calls from Margaret Crawford and a single text from an unfamiliar number, stating that legal documents needing her signature would be delivered by courier later that afternoon. As she immersed herself in the pages, Sarah stumbled upon her once more. "You're moving in with me," Sarah declared. "My brother has already delivered boxes to the apartment. We'll collect your belongings once the shift is over." Emma glanced upward, her eyes brimming with unshed tears. "I am unable to do that. You have the ability and determination to succeed." Sarah's tone was definitive and unyielding. "I have identified 3 banks that are conveniently located within walking distance of the hospital. A new account will be opened for you during lunch. I have power bars stashed in my locker to help with the morning sickness, and my cousin happens to be a lawyer who focuses on exactly this type of situation." Emotions cascaded down. "Don't you dare thank me," Sarah warned, enveloping her in a hug. "Simply make me a promise. Everything. Once you're back on your feet, and you will ensure he regrets ever hearing the name Emma Thompson." Once more, Emma's pager buzzed, signaling yet another crisis. She dried her tears, straightened her posture, and offered a faint smile. "Agreed," she replied, already stepping back toward the operating room. "But first, go save lives," Sarah concluded. "I will take care of the banks." As Emma prepared for her second emergency of the day, she silently vowed to her unborn child that while James Crawford may have taken their past, he would not dictate their future. She had 9 months to gather the strength needed for them both. The scrub nurse's gaze met hers through the window. "Are you prepared, Dr. Thompson?" Emma nodded, her hands lifted, her thoughts unclouded. Prepared. 3 months into her pregnancy, Emma found herself in Sarah's living room, captivated by a glossy magazine cover. The wedding photos of James and Helen took center stage in the business section. Their ceremony in Singapore, an exquisite fusion of Eastern and Western luxury. "Stop torturing yourself," Sarah said, swiftly taking the magazine from her hands. "Concentrate on this instead." She gently pushed a letter across the coffee table. The hospital letterhead shone brightly in the glow of the lamplight. "Concerning your research proposal about minimally invasive surgical techniques for children." It received their approval. Emma stood tall. "Complete financing. You have now taken the helm of your very own research team." Sarah smiled broadly. As one person celebrated a wedding in Singapore, another was transforming the field of pediatric surgery. Emma's phone vibrated. Another message from Margaret Crawford. After countless calls went unanswered, she resorted to sending texts. "I would be glad to assist you. This is not the outcome I envisioned for you or my grandchild." Emma decided to block the number. Sarah mentioned with caution that your mother had called the hospital once more. She continues to urge you to return to Boston. That's not going to work. Emma gently massaged her groin. Emma had become accustomed to the weekly papers demanding signatures, each one more intricate than the previous. Michael, Sarah's cousin and her new attorney, meticulously examined each document. He provided an overview of the initial batch in the standard NDA. He's purchasing your discretion regarding the pregnancy. He is unable to. Emma had responded. Absolutely not, he cannot. Michael consented. However, taking these funds without signing provides us with an advantage. Emma received the fresh envelope from Sarah. As she mentioned leverage, she retrieved her laptop and launched the financial tracking program that Michael had configured. Modest investments, strategic planning, all entirely above board. How near? Sarah inquired. Emma did the math. Just 3 more years. By that time, I will possess a significant number of shares that will have an impact. He won't anticipate it at all. Emma's hand lingered on her belly, feeling the gentle stir of the baby within as it kicked. Absolutely not. The device vibrated in her pocket. Urgent pediatric consultation required. With a sense of purpose, she declared, standing up with deliberate care. As Sarah approached the door, she called out, informing me that the nurses are planning a baby shower for next week. Only a few, just the hospital personnel. Emma hesitated, her throat constricted. Thank you very much. We're your family now, Sarah stated plainly. Every one of us. As Emma navigated the road to the hospital, she caught sight of a billboard showcasing Crawford Technologies' newly established headquarters in Singapore. James's face beamed over the city, with the tagline below proclaiming, "Crafting Tomorrow." Indeed, Emma murmured to her unborn child, though not the future he anticipates. Her phone illuminated with a notification. A critically ill child was on the way to the hospital. It appears that emergency surgery is probable. Emma transitioned smoothly, her thoughts already racing toward the upcoming case. Let James construct his realm of silicon and circuits, she mused. I am crafting a more resilient path, one forged from resolve, expertise, and the subtle power of defying expectations. The little one stirred once more as she pulled into the hospital parking lot. Message acknowledged, dear child, she beamed. Let's embark on a mission to make a difference. Dr. Thompson, your blood pressure is increasing, Dr. Martinez cautioned, casting a quick look at the monitor. It is essential that we take action. I know precisely what my BP is doing, Emma snapped, her hands immersed in a patient's chest cavity. And I won't walk away from this until this child's heart is beating as it should. At 39 weeks pregnant, she was officially on maternity leave, yet she had come in for a consultation when an emergency case emerged. A 6-year-old with a rare cardiac condition. Emma, allow me to take the lead, Sarah said from across the operating table. Nearly finished, Emma asserted, her focus sharp and unyielding even as the contractions surged through her. Simply need to be there, observing the screens. The heart rate found its steady rhythm. Normal sinus rhythm has been restored. The anesthesiologist confirmed that the patient is stable. Emma withdrew, retracting her hands. Come closer, Sarah. Ponder. I believe I might be experiencing labor pains. The ensuing moments unfolded in a whirlwind of activity. A figure assisted her onto a gurney. Her scrubs gave way to a hospital gown. Throughout the entire process, Emma continuously inquired about her patient's condition. The child is perfectly fine, Sarah reassured her. It's time to pay attention to your own child for a change. After 14 hours, Lucas James Thompson entered the world, his cries echoing with vigor and a full head of dark hair adorning his tiny frame. He resembles him, Emma murmured, cradling her son for the very first time. He resembles you, Sarah asserted with conviction. Resilient, determined, already defying expectations by making an entrance during surgery. A sudden knock at the door sent a wave of tension through the room, but it turned out to be merely a nurse carrying an enormous bouquet of flowers. A delivery arrived for you, Dr. Thompson, with a card that simply stated, "Congratulations. Margaret Crawford." How did she manage that? Emma commenced. Rumors circulating in the hospital? With a heavy sigh, Sarah released the weight of her thoughts. Would you like me to dispose of them? Emma gazed at the blossoms, then shifted her gaze to her son. No, place them near the window. She is his grandmother, regardless of any other roles she may hold. A gentle rap at the door. Dr. Martinez made his entrance. The individual you attended to earlier. Flawless restoration. Your parents have been inquiring about you. Sarah announced proudly that Dr. Thompson is recovering after saving their child while bringing her own into the world. Emma hardly registered their words. She found herself captivated by Lucas's face, committing every detail to memory. He possessed James's chin, yet her eyes were unmistakably his. His hands were small, but his hold on her finger was surprisingly firm. "Hello, Lucas," she murmured softly. "Everything will turn out fine." The glow of her phone illuminated the bedside table. Crawford Technologies has officially launched its headquarters in Singapore. Emma gazed at the flowers by the window, then turned her attention back to her son. In this hospital room, two paths unfolded before me, one veering towards bitterness, the other towards resilience. Dr. Thompson, a resident, peeked in. "I apologize for the interruption, but would you be able to provide some guidance on this matter?" Sarah commanded, having just brought a new life into the world. Emma chuckled, taken aback by her own reaction. "Everything is fine. Share the details of the case with me." As she absorbed the resident's account, Lucas still nestled in her embrace. Emma sensed a calmness wash over her. This defined her essence. A healer, a nurturer, a fighter. "Begin the assessment," she directed the resident. "I will take a look at the files tomorrow." "Is it happening tomorrow?" Sarah declared with enthusiasm. "Emma, that's not possible." Observe as Emma cradled Lucas in her embrace. "We'll make our rounds from the wheelchair if that's what it takes, won't we, my dear?" Lucas let out a yawn, and in that moment, for the first time since James had departed, Emma experienced a profound sense of certainty. They were destined for greatness. They were destined to be remarkable. "Mother, observe." Little Lucas, just 2 years old, proudly showcased his finished puzzle, his face glowing with joy. He completed the 48-piece dinosaur set in under 10 minutes. "That's incredible, darling," Emma said from her home office, going over the surgical notes. "How about giving the 100-piece one a shot next?" Sarah, sprawled on the office couch with medical journals scattered about, arched an eyebrow. It's interesting to note that many 2-year-olds are still in the process of mastering shape sorters. Wouldn't you agree? Most 2-year-olds aren't like Lucas, Emma remarked, emphasizing a part of her notes. Her forthcoming presentation on her innovative surgical technique was attracting global interest. The television in the background abruptly drew their focus, as Crawford Technologies' stock tumbled amidst swirling divorce rumors. It has been reported that CEO James Crawford and his spouse, Helen Chin Crawford, have ended their relationship. Sarah silenced it in an instant, yet Emma had already tensed up. "It's fine," she interjected before Sarah had a chance to respond. "I came across it just last week." "Margaret called," Sarah remarked. "You're answering her calls now." Emma gave a slight shrug. "She gifts Lucas books, informative ones." Sarah adjusted her posture, sitting up with renewed intent. "What about the shares?" 15%? Emma affirmed softly. "One more year, perhaps 2. Lucas stood in the doorway, gripping the 100-piece puzzle tightly. "Can you assist me, Mom?" "You really should take a break," Sarah insisted. "The presentation can hold off for now." Emma glanced at her watch. She found herself with 3 hours to spare before her next surgery. "All right, my friend. Reveal your talents to me." As they laid out the pieces on the living room floor, Emma's phone vibrated, signaling a message from J&S Hopkins. They requested her to showcase her surgical technique at their annual conference. "Approaching," Lucas declared, playfully dropping a puzzle piece onto her head and bursting into laughter. Emma enveloped him in a warm embrace, inhaling the familiar fragrance of baby shampoo. "How about we take a trip to Baltimore, my little friend? Mommy is preparing to deliver an important speech about mending little hearts." Lucas inquired, "Shall we go to the aquarium afterward?" Sarah observed from the threshold of the office. The conference is next month. Isn't that when James will be honored with his Innovation Award? Indeed. Emma maintained a steady tone. Baltimore is quite a large city, Lucas interjected abruptly, causing both women to pause in surprise. He gestured toward the silent television, where James's image lingered on the screen. Do you like my photo? Emma felt a tightness in her chest. Lucas kept James's official company photo nestled within the pages of his cherished book. He discovered it on the internet by himself. His skill with technology was already evident. Indeed, my friend, she succeeded much like your image. Lucas contemplated for a moment, then resumed his work on the puzzle. Require additional blue components. Sarah reached for the remote to turn up the volume. I'm certain she can manage that. The Henderson Children's Hospital Annual Gala proudly presents Dr. Emma Thompson, a trailblazing pediatric surgeon and this year's esteemed recipient of the Medical Innovation Award. Emma smoothed the fabric of her emerald evening gown, feeling the warmth of Lucas's small hand in hers as they strolled down the red carpet. At the age of 3, he was already capturing attention in his tiny tuxedo. Prepared, my friend, she murmured. Prepared, Dr. Mommy, he responded earnestly, causing several nearby photographers to swoon. Sarah emerged alongside them, radiant in her blue attire. They are prepared for your arrival backstage. I will choose Lucas. Absolutely not, Emma declared with conviction. He remains by my side. The choice to have Lucas present her award had sparked curiosity, but Emma was finished with concealment. Allow the medical community to witness the true essence of success. A single mother, a surgeon, and a child who represented her most significant accomplishment. The ballroom thrummed with the energy of Seattle's high society. Emma led Lucas to the stage, exchanging nods with her colleagues. At that moment, her gaze fell upon him. James Crawford lingered by the bar, aged yet undeniably recognizable. She shouldn't have been surprised by his presence. Crawford Technologies made a significant contribution. Their gazes locked from opposite ends of the space. An organizer named Dr. Thompson made an appearance. You're up in 5. Emma averted her eyes first, kneeling down to meet Lucas's gaze. Do you recall our previous exercises? He nodded with a grave expression. Present you with the distinguished award for your exceptional contributions and express my heartfelt congratulations. Flawless. She pressed her lips to his forehead, fully conscious of the intensity of James's gaze upon them. The opening commenced. Emma ascended the stage with Lucas mirroring her every move. The spotlight illuminated them as she commenced her speech. 3 years ago, I discovered something profound about tiny hearts. She began, her voice resonating with clarity and strength. They exhibit an impressive strength in the face of challenges. They mend, they become more resilient, and at times, they impart lessons on bravery that surpass anything we might acquire in a classroom setting. Her innovative surgical technique had rescued countless children. Yet as she spoke, she sensed James's presence bearing down on her like a tangible burden. He remained still, observing from a distance as his son, a boy he had never known, assisted in presenting the award that would secure Emma's legacy in the annals of medical history. And so, she concluded, to all the little hearts I've had the privilege to mend, thank you. Yet, the deepest gratitude is reserved for my son Lucas, who showed me that the most resilient hearts aren't always those we mend. Lucas advanced at the perfect moment, cradling the crystal award with delicate precision. Congratulations, Dr. Mommy, he announced into the microphone, eliciting a wave of appreciative laughter from the audience. The applause erupted without delay. Emma embraced Lucas tightly while the cameras clicked away, intentionally avoiding any glance towards the bar. Later, at their table, Sarah leaned in closer. He has departed. Departed immediately following your address. Emma observed, captivated by Lucas as he captivated the hospital board with his intricate understanding of heart chambers. Excellent, she remarked. He appeared taken aback, Sarah remarked. Witnessing Lucas must have. What is essential? Emma's voice was frigid, made him recall what he left behind. He has decided. Lucas hurried back to their table. Mom, Dr. Wilson mentioned that I can check out the big machines tomorrow. Emma drew him close, inhaling the comforting aroma that was so distinctly his. Have you expressed your gratitude to him appropriately? Indeed, I inquired about the echocardiogram just as you instructed me. As Lucas began to articulate a remarkably precise account of cardiac imaging, Emma noticed a recognizable silhouette near the exit. Margaret Crawford, resplendent in silver, observed them with glistening tears in her eyes. Emma offered her a subtle nod. Margaret handed it back before vanishing into the darkness. Mother, Lucas pulled at her sleeve. Shall we visit the fish tank once more? Absolutely, darling. Emma rose, grasping his hand. Let James return to Singapore, where he can face his deteriorating marriage and rising stocks. All that she cherished was contained within this very space. A nurse rushed over to Dr. Thompson. Urgent situation approaching. Your presence is essential. Emma glanced at her watch before turning her gaze to Sarah, who was already extending her hand toward Lucas. Go, Sarah said. We will manage the fish tank. Emma knelt down, pressing her lips gently against Lucas's forehead to bid him good night. Show kindness to Aunt Sarah. Save the tiny heart, Mommy, he replied, and Emma felt her heart swell with a love so intense it was nearly overwhelming. This thought raced through her mind as she hurried toward the hospital wing. This was a genuine triumph, and James Crawford remained oblivious to what he had forfeited. The surgical board hummed with whispers the following morning. The CEO of Crawford Technology departed the gala prematurely, as noted in a headline on a society page displayed on a phone. Emma brushed it aside, concentrating on her post-op notes. The emergency surgery performed last night was a success. A small heart mended once more. Is Dr. Thompson available? A nurse stepped forward with caution. A call is waiting for you from Singapore. Uninterested, Emma kept her gaze down. The nurse spoke softly. It's not him. It is Helen Chin Crawford. She mentions that it's regarding your stakes in the company. Emma's pen came to a halt. She had exercised caution in utilizing shell companies and Margaret's advice to discreetly acquire stock. If Helen were aware. Leave a message, Emma responded. She also brought up a detail regarding Margaret Crawford's condition. Emma's gaze shot upward. Which condition are you referring to? Advanced pancreatic cancer. From behind, Sarah's voice emerged. I have just received the lab results. Margaret is being admitted today. Emma felt the pen break in her grip, blue ink smudging her fingers. What is the duration? Weeks, perhaps months. Sarah offered her a tissue. She is seeking your expertise as her physician. Emma let out a hollow laugh. I specialize in pediatric surgery. She requires your help, Sarah interjected. And you understand the reason behind it. Lucas's weekly FaceTime sessions with his grandmother, the educational toys, the investment advice. Margaret had been constructing connections while her son was dismantling them. Emma's phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. Here comes another news update. Crawford Technology shares dive in wake of leadership turmoil. Dr. Thompson, the nurse, was still anticipating Helen Chin's call. Inform her that I'll return the call. Emma stood tall, adjusting her pristine white coat. Once I have seen Margaret. Margaret's secluded chamber was situated on the oncology level. She appeared diminished in some way, her typical grace overshadowed by the sterile hospital linens. I was curious who would be the one to break the news to you, Margaret remarked as she greeted you. It's your daughter-in-law, quite unexpectedly. Emma instinctively checked the monitors. While I have my doubts that the call was genuinely concerning my shares. Smart girl, Margaret smiled faintly. Helen is getting ready to end her marriage. She seeks companions, and she believes I am one. Emma paused, realization settling in. She aims to push James out. The board divided. Your contributions could sway the outcome. Margaret extended her hand toward Emma. However, that's not my purpose for being here. I understand. Emma clasped her hand softly. Lucas is eager to meet with you. James remains unaware of everything surrounding him. Margaret's eyes brimmed with emotion. The illness, the separation arrangements Lucas's presents. Are you hoping he will? What I desire, Margaret expressed thoughtfully, is to spend time with my grandson while I still have the chance. The remainder, she gestured with a delicate hand. The remainder is all about the enterprise. Emma's pager vibrated with a sudden urgency. Yet another crisis has arisen. Go, Margaret said. But Emma, when Helen calls again, pay close attention. At times, the lines between retribution and fairness can appear strikingly alike. Emma hesitated at the threshold. I'll bring Lucas along after my surgery. Thank you, Margaret's voice interrupted her once more. He possesses the intellect of James, you see. Yet your heart. I'm truly grateful for that. Emma rushed to the operating room, her thoughts swirling in a chaotic dance. Helen Chen sought a companion. Margaret was nearing the end of her journey. In a corner of Singapore, James Crawford was on the brink of discovering just how much he had truly lost, in more ways than he could imagine. Her phone vibrated one final time before she prepared for the task ahead. Helen Chen Crawford has initiated divorce proceedings, asserting a dominant stake in Crawford Technologies. Emma offered a faint smile as she secured her surgical mask in place. The dynamics were shifting, and at last, she possessed every advantage. Fraudulent practices shake the foundations of Crawford Technologies. The financial news droned on in the hospital lounge. Emma observed James's face appear on the screen, his expression weary and strained. Hey Mom, how's the math going for you? He confidently presented her with the finished calculus problems, assignments intended for students 4 times his age. Is it time to go see Grandma now? Just as Emma was about to respond, Sarah suddenly entered the lounge with great energy. Text, you have to check this out, she said, pushing her tablet towards me, revealing an email from Helen Chen's legal team. Our client is eager to engage in a prompt conversation about your 18% stake in Crawford Technologies. Is it really 18%? Emma's eyebrows arched in surprise. I possess merely 15. Yesterday, Margaret passed her shares on to Lucas. Sarah softened her tone. Everything is above board. She arranged for her legal team to handle it prior to commencing the new treatment. Emma's phone buzzed to life. Another call from Helen Chen. She had been reaching out every day. Take it, Sarah insisted. The moment has arrived. Emma paused, her gaze fixed on Lucas. He returned to his workbook, a gentle hum escaping his lips as he tackled equations that would confound many grown-ups. Stay with him, she instructed Sarah before stepping out to answer the phone. Dr. Thompson here. You've been avoiding me. Dr. Helen's accent was sharp, her tone professional. There are important topics we need to address, including the shares your son has recently obtained. Alongside your personal assets, you now possess the most substantial single block of Crawford Technology stock. Emma observed Lucas from behind the lounge window. I understand. James is unaware of the boy. Helen's voice took on a steely edge. That might evolve. Exercise caution. Emma cautioned gently. Intimidation won't be effective. Not a danger, but a chance. Helen took a moment to stop and reflect. Assist me in seizing command of the board, and James Crawford will have nothing left. Isn't that what you desire? What I desire, Emma expressed thoughtfully, is to secure my son's future. In that case, we are on the same page. The board convenes next week in Singapore. Your presence would hold great significance. Emma's pager vibrated with a sudden urgency. Margaret's monitors displayed troubling complications. I'll think about it, she replied swiftly. I must take my leave. She hurried to Margaret's room, discovering Lucas already present, gently holding his grandmother's hand while she rested. Her numbers declined, Sarah conveyed softly. However, she found her balance. Emma personally reviewed the charts, medical professionals' intuition clashing with their emotional responses. They want me in Singapore, she finally revealed. Helen Chen is taking action. Go, Sarah instructed. I will observe both of them. Margaret awoke, her gaze settling on Emma. Singapore, she inquired softly. Indeed, Helen made a call. Margaret offered a subtle smile. It's time for him to gain some understanding. What have you learned? Grandmother? Lucas inquired with a sense of naivety. Margaret gently clasped his tiny hand. The greatest errors in life often carry the heaviest costs. Emma's phone vibrated once more. Her travel agent has secured first-class tickets to Singapore. As she observed Lucas articulate his understanding of calculus to his grandmother, a chilling sense of inevitability enveloped her. James Crawford was on the brink of realizing that he hadn't merely left behind a son 3 years prior. He had forsaken his entire future. The board of Crawford Technologies is now set to hear from Dr. Emma Thompson, who represents an 18% controlling interest. The atmosphere in the Singapore boardroom shifted as Emma rose to her feet. Jan, seated at the far end of the table, turned pale upon her arrival. Helen Chun occupied the space between them, exuding an air of perfect composure. "Before I start," Emma stated with a serene demeanor, "I have something to convey." She powered on her laptop, linking it to the room's display. A video started, showcasing Lucas at his study desk, tackling intricate engineering challenges while engaging in conversation with Margaret. "This is Lucas Thompson," Emma narrated as the footage played on. At the age of 3, an IQ test revealed a score of 164. "My child." She took a moment, allowing her words to resonate. "Our son, James." The boardroom burst into chaos. James clutched the table, his knuckles pale and tense. Her phone buzzed, and the message from Sarah sent a chill through her veins. "Margaret is falling apart. Return immediately." "I'll be concise." Emma tackled the disorder. "I am casting my votes for both my shares and my son's shares in support of Helen Chen's restructuring proposal. James Crawford is officially dismissed from his position as CEO." She shut her laptop, the air thick with the fervor of protests echoing around her. James remained still, silent. "Dr. Thompson?" As Emma made her way to the door, Helen's voice rang out. "It's time for us to have a conversation. My attorney will take care of all the details." Emma kept moving forward without hesitation. "Patient is awaiting my attention." She boarded the earliest flight back to Seattle, yet it felt agonizingly slow. Margaret spent an hour in the air before she touched down. Lucas, gripping her hand tightly until the very last moment. "She left this for you," Sarah said as Emma hurried in, passing her an envelope. Within the envelope lay a letter accompanied by a USB drive. Emma immersed herself in a book as Lucas lay asleep, worn out from his sorrow. "My dear Emma, the board meeting has concluded by this time. I trust you showcased our boy's exceptional intellect. This is my final offering to you, a testament that James discarded not only affection but also heritage." The drive holds it all. James's initial merger documents, the backdated marriage license with Helen, and the questionable stock transfers. "I have maintained records of all correspondence since the moment he departed from your life. Utilize it with care, not for retribution, but for Lucas. He requires safeguarding against an impending storm approaching Crawford Technologies. Cherish him deeply on behalf of everyone. Margaret." Emma connected the drive, grasping the essence of dawning as she perused the text. James didn't merely leave them behind. He engaged in corporate fraud to facilitate his departure. The merger, the union, everything had been meticulously planned long before she revealed the news of the pregnancy to him. The sound of her phone ringing pierced the silence. "Is that you, James?" "Don't," Sarah cautioned, yet Emma replied. The line was enveloped in silence. "What is the reason?" At long last, James posed the question. "Your opportunity to question was forfeited 3 years prior." Emma observed Lucas as he lay in slumber. "Now the company has Helen. The reality is yours to confront." "Emma, I implore you," James said. "Farewell, James." With a decisive click, she severed the connection, ensuring his number would never reach her again. Sarah gently placed her hand on her shoulder. "What comes next?" Emma gazed at the medical journal resting on her desk, her latest surgical innovation gracing the cover. Her eyes then shifted to Lucas, radiant and captivating, entirely free from the weight of his father's legacy. At that moment, Emma wore a wistful smile. "We now pay tribute to Margaret's final desire. We continue to create something far superior to what he could have imagined." The pager vibrated urgently, signaling the need for emergency surgery. The world continued its relentless spin. Little hearts still required rescue. In a corner of Singapore, James Crawford was coming to grips with the real price of his decisions. Emma read the court documents in her office, her request for visitation rights having been denied. The invitation to Lucas's 4th birthday party lay unopened beside them. 3 weeks had gone by since Margaret's funeral. James had made the journey for the occasion, yet he lingered at the rear of the church, departing before Emma and Lucas made their entrance at the reception. The office phone illuminated, signaling the start of the Crawford Technology bankruptcy proceedings. Dr. Thompson, her assistant, peeked in. Mr. Crawford awaits in the lobby. He won't go until he has the chance to see you. Emma momentarily shut her eyes. Contact security immediately. He possesses documents. Claims to be from Margaret. That caused her to hesitate. Kindly grant me 5 minutes. She discovered James near the hospital's fish tank, the cherished spot of Lucas. He appeared utterly shattered, his designer suit creased and his eyes vacant. Security is on their way, she remarked as a form of greeting. I will keep it short. He extended a hefty envelope. This was left for Lucas by Mother. It has just been released by her legal team. Emma approached it with caution, keeping her distance. That concludes everything. Helen has triumphed. The company is done for. I am done, he chuckled emptily. It appears to be reasonable in some way. Nothing about this is just, Emma's voice was unyielding. You insured that 3 years ago. I wish to meet him. No, Emma, he replied. This is not an entity available for acquisition. She interrupted him. He is a young one, my young one. The one you left behind. Our child, he gently corrected. Emma's laughter carried a sharp edge. The moment you prioritized a merger over your family, you forfeited the right to that word. The merger was misguided. Everything felt amiss as he moved in closer. I will give it a shot. Security has arrived. Emma acknowledged with a nod towards the approaching guards. Farewell, James. Hold on. He extracted yet another envelope. A letter for him to read when he grows older. Kindly. Emma accepted it, merely to hasten his departure. It's worth noting that he has already outperformed your company's top engineers at just 4 years old. A grimace twisted James's features. Similar to the father. No, Emma interjected. As the mother, so the son. I am the one who remained. She observed as security led him away, then proceeded to her next surgical procedure. The envelopes smoldered in her pocket, yet they could bide their time. She had lives to rescue. Later that night, once Lucas had drifted off to sleep, Emma delved into both letters. Margaret's was brimming with affection, insight, and a financial legacy that would secure Lucas's academic future. James was brimming with justifications. She carefully placed both items in a fresh envelope, marking it with the date for Lucas's 18th birthday. She crafted her own letter, concise yet more sincere. My beloved son, your father selected a realm of transparency and technology. You have been selected by me. It was the simplest decision I've ever encountered. With all my love, Mom. Her phone vibrated with urgent news. Crawford Technology's assets had been confiscated. James Crawford, the former CEO, is currently facing an investigation. Emma switched off her phone and headed to see how Lucas was doing. He slumbered serenely, enveloped by volumes on cardiac surgery and advanced physics, the final offerings from Margaret strewn around him. Some decisions, Emma reflected, observing her son's steady breaths, resonate endlessly. Yet, there are moments when they resonate in unforeseen ways. She gently shut his door, keeping the past locked away in letters for another time. And the esteemed accolade for excellence in pediatric surgery is awarded to Dr. Emma Thompson. The conference hall filled with enthusiastic applause. At 6 years old, Lucas sat in the front row, nestled between Sarah and his beloved nurse, a radiant smile lighting up his face as his mother stepped onto the stage. 3 years ago, I found myself at another podium, Emma began, discussing tiny hearts. Today, I wish to discuss the larger entities, those that continue to thrive in the face of every challenge. Her innovative surgical technique had established itself as the global benchmark, rescuing countless children. Yet, as she spoke, her gaze continually drifted to Lucas, who was practically buzzing with eagerness to reveal his own news. At the rear of the hall, quietly, James Crawford made his entrance. He appeared transformed, lacking the tailored suit and the sheen of corporate refinement. The inquiry had taken away all that he held dear. Emma expressed her heartfelt gratitude to every parent who has placed their trust in her with their child's heart. Your lessons have shown me that true strength often lies beyond the visible. Lucas leaped onto the stage, perfectly timed, as he handed her the award. However, on this occasion he was ready to share his own news. My mother mends hearts, he announced into the microphone. I will assist. I have been accepted into the gifted medical program. The crowd inhaled sharply. The initiative was designed for students in high school. Lucas had just turned 6. Emma embraced him tightly, a wave of emotion threatening to spill over. Absolutely, darling. We'll tackle them as a team. Later, at the reception, Sarah gently prodded her. He has left once more. Emma observed intently as Lucas articulated the intricacies of cardiac anatomy to a captivated group of medical students. Excellent, she remarked. Sarah presented her with a newspaper clipping. A former tech CEO dedicates time to volunteering at children's hospitals in Singapore. Emma quietly set it aside, offering no words. Let James seek his redemption in other places. Their journey, her journey, was already determined. Mom, Lucas just called. The dean is inquiring whether I can commence the program next month. Emma approached her son, setting aside the clipping and all it suggested. They possessed delicate hearts in need of mending, and that was the essence of it all. As they exited the conference hall, Lucas animatedly discussing valve replacements and cardiac rhythms. Emma noticed their reflection in a window, mother and son, their white coats harmonizing, both poised to make their mark on the world in their unique ways. Some empires, she mused, are crafted from glass and steel. Yet, the most resilient are forged in love, one pulsating heart at a time. The Children's Cardiac Wing of Henderson Hospital has been renamed the Margaret Crawford Center for Pediatric Innovation. 9-year-old Lucas straightened his tiny lab coat, standing proudly next to his mother as they revealed the plaque. Emma glanced at the smaller nameplate beneath his research station, reading the name Dr. Lucas Thompson Crawford. Achieved the distinction of being the youngest certified medical researcher in the history of the United States. Lucas beamed, his father's dimples appearing while his mother's fierce resolve sparkled in his gaze. Are we able to begin the trials today? The design of his pediatric heart valve, initially sketched at the tender age of 7, meticulously refined by 8, and now poised for testing at 9, had already garnered international acclaim. The gathering was intimate, consisting solely of hospital personnel and a handful of journalists. Should anyone have observed James Crawford lingering at the rear of the gathering, it went unspoken. He had aged 10 years in just 3. The journey of redemption etched in the contours of his face as he traverses Asia's children's hospitals. Emma then turned to the audience, inviting my colleague, Dr. Lucas Thompson, to share his groundbreaking discovery. Lucas advanced with assurance, diving into a thorough explanation that had experienced cardiac surgeons staring in disbelief. Emma observed him, her heart brimming with emotion. Her phone buzzed, signaling yet another award nomination, yet another speaking invitation. She had long ago lost track. However, those did not represent her most significant accomplishments. Her most significant accomplishment was taking the stage, transforming cardiac care before he reached 10. Embodying his grandmother's kindness and his mother's resolve in every phrase. As the throng began to thin, Emma noticed James hanging back near the plaque. Across the room, their eyes connected for a fleeting moment. No words were necessary to be spoken. He gave a brief nod, brushed his fingers over Margaret's name etched on the plaque, and departed. Are you prepared for your inaugural case review? Emma inquired of Lucas, who was already retrieving patient files on his tablet. Ready, Dr. Mom, he said with a serious tone. Then his expression shifted into a bright grin. Let's have a little competition to see who can get to the conference room first. Emma observed him sprinting forward, his white coat billowing behind him. 9 years ago, she found herself in her kitchen, clutching a positive pregnancy test, as the weight of her world seemed to crumble around her. Now, she found herself in the hospital, observing as that same world unfolded before her, surpassing her most vivid imaginings. Are you joining us? Lucas returned the call. Without fail, she responded and trailed behind her son as they ventured toward their next wonder. Some choices resonate endlessly, yet at times those resonances transform into melodies.